Welcome back to today's Schmoedown Tea Time, where we will be breaking down the latest in the Schmoedown world. I got kind of overwhelmed with the beginning of the school year and everything, so I missed a few reaction videos. So I was just thinking I would do a recap of the matches I've missed and break down the rest of the tournament and what I'm looking forward to, because we have gotten so many good matches in the last couple weeks, and the tournament has now just started and it is only going to get stronger from here. Before the tournament began, we had Ben Bateman and Mike Kalinowski to play Jeff Snyder to play for New York. So that was the first video that I missed, and that was so good. I really think that Mike Kalinowski is the strongest we have ever seen him, and this match just proved that. And Ben Bateman is such a strong competitor, but there is no way that you can stop Mike Kalinowski right now, and I think after he got Inner Geekdom and now he has a belt in the teams, that's actually public knowledge. It's public. So JK, he is Mikey 2 belts right now. The fans have been saying Mikey 3 belts, and it's even carrying through into the actual Schmoedown where that phrase is being used, and it's so exciting to see because I definitely think he is capable of it, and even though he did lose to Jeff Snyder, I do think that he has a chance of making his way back through the tournament. It's going to be a lot harder. I think he's very capable of that. We've never had a triple belt player like him before. I kind of get annoyed with everyone being like, who's your Mount Rushmore? Like, who's the top 4 players? And I don't really like to do that just because I think that the Schmoedown is always in flux. My Mount Rushmore can vary between matches, and Mike Kalinowski isn't ever really considered to be on people's Mount Rushmores, at least from what I've seen, and I think that he should be, and that even though I just said I don't do that, I think if you're going to do that, he should definitely be on there. We've never seen a player come from such He's never been terrible. He's never been the worst, but he's really transitioned from this player that we didn't really take seriously. He came in as a face. He was kind of annoying to some people, not to me, but he came in and now he's fully evolved as a player, as an entertainer in terms of character. And it's been really exciting to see, and it has really made me a Corruption fan this season, and I have no shame about it. I don't think you should be ashamed to be a Corruption fan. I don't know why people give each other crap for it, but I'm a very big Mike Kalinowski fan, and I think that this is just the beginning of his long-reigning, double-belted... Oh, no. I can say that. I keep forgetting the SHIREWOLVES match is public now. I think Mike would have done very well in New York had he been given the opportunity, and obviously he did have an opportunity, but he had to face Jeff Snyder and he didn't win. I think that Jeff Snyder, you kind of forget about him as a singles player. For me personally, I see his name on the schedule and then I'm like, oh right, Jeff Snyder, and that doesn't make sense. When I see Jeff Snyder's name on the schedule, I almost forget that he's a singles player, and there's no shade in that sentence, but he has been such a star in the teams league, and I think he's a little, not underrated in the singles division, but I think we just truly forget that he is just as good as so many other players because he has only really ever stood out in a teams division, and I think he's fully capable of being a champion in the singles division. We've just never seen him truly succeed as a singles player. So at first, when I went into the match with Mike and Jeff, I was like, there is no freaking way that Mike is going to lose to Jeff. Jeff can only do well with a partner, and I was proven wrong. I don't know why I had that judgment against Jeff going in. I think I was a little burnt out after that match last year with Mark Riley, where it appear that he gave up, and I don't know him personally, so I don't know the circumstances surrounding that match, but I was a little shocked to see him come out the winner, especially because Mike is on such a roll right now. But it was a very well-deserved win, and I'm looking forward to talking about his match in New York against Paul Oyama. And still on the topic of Mike Kalinowski, we have the SHIREWOLVES versus Corruption match. So I haven't really talked about this on my channel yet. I do have the whole video that I made for the SHIREWOLVES on my channel. Be sure to check that out. And I did break down the match on the Call to Action podcast, so I will have that linked in the description as well. This match was so good. It was everything it needed to be and more for me. I think that the Shirewolves went out the way they wanted, even though it was a loss. They went out fighting and proving once again why they are the great players they are. And like, Clark and Rachel are for sure going to be missed in the Schmoedown. Their presence will be missed. Even if you don't recognize it, you'll be like wanting a Clark and Rachel subconsciously, I feel. There hasn't been a team like the Shirewolves that has had such an impact on everyone involved. I mean, I feel like I've said this a million times in every video I've talked about them in, but they just have been such an inspiration, and the league would not be where it is because of them. And again, thank you a million times to Clark and Rachel. Thank you to Nerd Chronic for putting me in the tribute video. I am so incredibly honored that I got to be a part of that. Just thinking back to when Clark debuted in the Schmoedown, I would have never guessed that I, in any type of way, would have been a part of her legacy in the Schmoedown in terms of just having a small clip in that tribute video. So thank you so much. That will forever be my favorite match. Just, I can't imagine loving another match as much as that one. Speaking of the match, there was another team that played, and that was Corruption. I was very torn going into this match because as much as I love the Shirewolves, I am a big Mike Kalinowski fan, and I wanted both of them to win because I wanted the Shirewolves to prove they were worthy and to walk out of the Schmoedown with a belt so that they could say no one truly ever took it away from them. But I also wanted Mike Kalinowski and Chance Ellison to get belts, especially going into the teams tournament. I didn't want them to have the championship vacated and then it would be like a fight to the finish for it. I wanted them to be the champions going into the teams tournament so that we could see some interesting challengers go up against them. So I am kind of glad Corruption won, but it was a heartbreaking loss either way. And it's such a poetic ending to the Shirewolves that Mike Kalinowski ended up taking the belt from Rachel. So if you guys would love a more in-depth analysis, I did do that on the Call to Action podcast. Again, link in description. And before we break down the singles tournament, we have to talk about a couple cutscenes. First, we had Robert Meyer Burnett talking to Christian Harloff himself, talking about the nuke, and Christian says something along the lines of, he's gonna hate it, she's gonna hate it, everyone's gonna hate it, but we should do it. And even though we all love our Lord and Savior Christian Harloff, I think we should not forget that he is super shady, and he started Corruption and didn't tell anyone for a whole year that it was him, and he put it on Mike Kalinowski. So this scene kind of brought back those shady vibes. I still have no freaking clue what the nuke is. I know that it's going to be life-changing in terms of Schmoedown storylines. I am such a bad reactor because I literally have no idea. I don't know if it's gonna be something in terms of shake-up with teams or singles or how the games are gonna work or how the matches are gonna be. So yeah, this is very anticlimactic because I still have no idea. But now that we know that Christian approves of whatever this nuke is, it's going to be set into motion and we should all be scared. That's all this is me just saying, let's all freak out and get stressed because Robert Meyer Burnett is permanently changing the Schmoedown. The second scene we had was Dan Murrell talking to Mara Knopik. It was actually just like an adorable scene. I love watching scenes where it's not just like heels doing stuff. Like, this was just a nice, cute scene. I didn't really get any team up vibes. Maybe she'll join the Horsemen. I don't really know. But it's just nice to see a little bit of an allegiance between the two players. Personal relationships aside, they are very adorable on screen together, and I would love to see them team up in some capacity. But until now, I would just love like a cutscene of them interacting like every video. Like, that would be everything for me. But now we have the singles tournament. It is already underway. I didn't really ever do a bracket. I don't want to like rank competitors over one another. Like, I feel bad like saying who's gonna win, and I know that is the point of a bracket, and like that's the point of the tournament, is to like choose who's going to win and see how you predict that. And that's literally my essence as a reactor, is like predicting and analyzing. But there was just this anxiety I had about doing it because I didn't want to pit my favorite competitors against each other. So I'm finally doing it, and it will be in this video right now. So we had Whitney Seibold versus Brendan Meyer. I love Brendan Meyer so much. If you have watched my reaction videos for any match he's done, I am always like the biggest Brendan Meyer fan, like such a cutie. But anyway, I have said this a couple times. I think that Whitney is a very strong competitor, but there have been multiple times where he is the one who's predicted to win the match and he ends up falling short. He loses to people he should not be losing to. And that's no shade to Brendan. I think this was a very well-deserved win. I just think that Whitney falls short sometimes. We have seen such a growth in Brendan compared to his first match versus Paul Oyama to now. It's a completely different player, and it's so exciting to see, and I would love to see how he's going to do in the teams tournament, because I have been super impressed by their match against the Scream Queens, and I think that they are going to definitely take over the tournament. So when we get to the teams bracket, we'll talk about that. We had Brendan beating Whitney, and then the second match that has been released from the tournament is Mark Riley versus Stacey Howard. This was the first upset for me in my personal bracket. I think that Stacey, she has been known to be a Cinderella player and to be the underdog in her matches, but we hadn't seen that in a while, so I felt like a lot of people were starting to lose faith in her as viewers, and that is so not necessary. We did see her pull out a very good performance in Collider Collision's Manager Bowl, and she has been known to break brackets in the tournament. But that being said, when you have her go up against Mark Riley, you think there is no way she can beat him. He is Mark freaking Riley. And unfortunately, we did see him lose to Stacey. What is the phrase? Is it like fire under her butt? I don't know what the phrase is, but like she has this fire under her now, and I think we're going to see a very strong Stacey Howard in her match against Brendan Meyer. I would maybe predict that Brendan would win it though. They're both doing so well right now. Oh my god, this is why I don't do brackets. It's only the first one and I don't know which one to do. I think we're going to say Brendan. Let's do Brendan. So for the rest of the left side of the bracket, we have Lon Harris and Paul Preston playing each other again. Last time they faced off, Lon was the winner, but I am going to predict that Paul will win that match. Paul has been trying to figure out the Schmoedown and get it down to a T, and I think he's going to come back for revenge and take that win from Lon. Sorry, Lon, like no shade there, but like that's what I predict. Then they will be playing the winner of Bateman versus Liz Shannon Miller. This one is actually kind of hard. I do know I always sing the praises of Ben Bateman. I am Team Bateman, and Andrew Guy is a traitor or whatever. But Ben versus Liz is actually really hard to predict because I feel like a lot of people forget that Liz was just as close to being a number one contender as Paul Oyama was, and she has a lot of base knowledge that seems to just come natural to her, and I feel like maybe it might be because she doesn't say if she like studies that hard or not, or like what her strategy is, because she hasn't really had a dominating presence in the league in terms of character and her threatening people, and by threatening I mean just cutting promos. But this is probably the worst prediction video ever because I just am so indecisive, but I'm probably just going to say Ben Bateman would win that. I'm going to say Bateman, but I know Liz is going to put up a fight. So I'm going to put Ben down on the bracket. So I'm saying Bateman is going to win that one and Liz will lose. But if she does win, that's the least surprising upset on this bracket right now. I think if she beats Ben, she definitely has a chance of getting all the way to the finals. I would love to see Ben get to the finals to get a belt. Like, oh my god, it needs to happen soon. Like, please. Best player without a belt, okay? And then I would say that Bateman would beat Paul Preston for sure. I think that as much as Paul, I said, has a lot of experience now, Bateman could beat him and use his strategy against him. And I think Bateman has a very good job of getting into people's heads and Paul might not be ready for that. So I'm going to say Bateman is going to be the one to get all the way to the end of the bracket. Wow, I love sports terms. And then he would end up playing Brendan Meyer. And honestly, I would say Bateman would beat Brendan Meyer. So there, that's the thesis. Ben Bateman's going to go all the way to the finals of this tournament. That's my prediction. Wow, love controversy. Yeah, Bateman for sure. The more I think about it, the more that makes sense for what I know of all these players. So yes, Bateman is going to be the finals tournament winner. I didn't even go through the other side. Let's do that. I would predict Ethan would win. I love Haley so much. I love Collider Witching Hour, but Ethan is Ethan Irwin. You can't really bet against him. He always is very consistent, and when he loses by this much. He was a singles champion. I feel like he definitely wants that belt back, and he has been known to fight his way through the tournament, and he can definitely do it again. So I'm going to say Ethan for that one, and then they're going to play the winner of William Bibiani versus Chance Ellison, and that is going to be a tough match to predict. Actually, not really. No, William Bibiani's going to win. Like, no shade to Chance, and I know I have previously talked about in this exact video how much I love corruption, and Chance is a very good player. And I know Chance is going to be performing in his like hometown or whatever, but Bibiani thrives in a live event. We saw him last the entire free-for-all at that live event back in March. So I would definitely predict William Bibiani. I think he thrives under the pressure of a live event, and he is going to kill it. So I'm going to say that. And then the winner of William Bibiani versus Ethan Irwin. Who? I think Bibiani would beat Ethan. That would be my prediction, and I'm going to stick by that. We're going to be confident with that decision. So William Bibiani, Ethan Irwin, bye Ethan. And then for the bottom half of the right bracket, we have John Roca versus Rachel Silvestrini. I would love to say confidently that I believe John Roca would beat Rachel. We haven't seen John been doing bad, but I feel like I don't want to say he's washed up, and he's not. But in the same way that I kind of assumed Stacey Howard would lose, I would assume Rachel would lose, and I don't think I should put it past either of those players, and I definitely am not putting it past Rachel. She has improved so much compared to last year. We have seen her grow in the same way Brendan Meyer has as a singles player, just compared to her matches earlier this year. She is completely different. She's so much more confident. She knows how to control herself and the rules and how to play the Schmoedown in terms of strategy, and I think I want to say Rachel, but I also can't, in my heart of hearts, say that John Roca is going to lose. So I'm going to say John Roca, but I really hope Rachel wins. And that is literally no shade because I am the biggest John Roca fan. That's a lie, but I'm a really big John Roca fan. I think that. I'm going to say John Roca, but please, Rachel, please win. Please. I would really enjoy that and bust everyone's brackets. I dare you. Bust everyone's brackets. And then they're going to play the winner of Kalinowski versus Janine. I love how all the girls had to go up against all the legendary players. But that's okay because all the girls themselves are legendary, but they definitely all have the hardest brackets. I'm going to say, and that's another hard one because Janine's on a roll and Mike's on a roll, and I'm all about Mikey 3 belts, but Janine, I feel like, has been studying a lot. She is evolving to become a top tier player. She just keeps coming short in terms of luck of the draw. And I think that she is capable of winning this whole entire tournament, but I can't discount Mike Kalinowski. Why is this so hard? Why is this so freaking hard? Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to say Mike Kalinowski, but just like I said with Rachel, please, Janine, bust everyone's brackets. Please, prove everyone wrong. Prove me wrong. You got this, Janine. I'm rooting for you, but I'm going to say Mike Kalinowski. And that's because I want to talk about him playing against John Roca. I think that Mike and John would be a very interesting dynamic. I can't remember if we have ever seen them go up against each other in singles because I'm super tired and I can't remember right now, but I don't think they have. But I would say that John versus Mike would win. I would say Mike would win for sure. I know that I'm more confident about Mike beating John than I am like any of the other matches on this bracket. So I'm going to say Mike, and then they would play William Bibiani. Oh my god, this is why I don't do brackets, because this is so hard. I would say Mike would beat William, but same thing to William. Please bust my bracket. I'm still rooting for you, even though I would say Mike. And then that would mean Mike versus Bateman. Wow, I love putting myself in this situation. I guess I would say Mike would win the tournament. Wow, I think this video is just really exposing myself as a corruption fan. Is this a controversial bracket? Let me know in the comments below if I'm totally wrong. And also, sorry it's so late because like 2 of the matches have already happened, but that is what I'm predicting for this year's single tournament. And I will be breaking down the New York live event videos as they come out this week. I will try not to be doing any more recap videos for when I get behind. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below if you think I am crazy for predictions on how this tournament will go. Be sure to check out my live Twitter thread to the New York City 2 Schmoedown live event. I had a great time watching it and talking to everyone in the chat, and I try to do that for all of the live events. So if you see me in there, say hi. I love talking to y'all. So yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.